Welcome to Language Swap, everyone, a fun way to learn English. We are so excited to have you join us today.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sally. Today's episode is a true story, and it's mine, which means Alex has been waiting for this exact recording day for weeks.
Today, we're talking about my first date from a professional networking app. And yes, it went about as well as that sentence already sounds.
This episode is level B1 to B2, so if you're at that stage, you're exactly in the right place today.
Yeah. So if you're an intermediate learner, this episode is perfect for you.
And if you're a strong beginner, you can still stay with us. You don't need to catch every word. Just relax and take in what you can.
And before we get into the actual disaster, if you're enjoying the podcast, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more people find us.
Okay, now let's get into it because I've been dreading and looking forward to telling this story in equal amounts.
Set the scene for me. How does someone end up on a date from a networking app in the first place?
So I downloaded this app that's supposed to be for professional connections, mentorship, that kind of thing.
Very respectable so far. Honestly, no complaints yet.
Very respectable, and then a man messaged me saying he loved my profile and wanted to connect over coffee.
That sounds completely normal for networking, honestly.
That's exactly what I thought. So I said yes, expecting to talk about, I don't know, industry trends, career advice, something professional.
And what actually happened when he showed up?
He showed up wearing cologne so strong I could smell it before he opened the door, holding a single flower, and said, "I've been looking forward to this all week."
That is not networking energy at all.
That's the exact moment I realized this was somehow a date, and neither of us had actually said that word out loud yet.
So you're sitting there, coffee shop, flower on the table, trying to figure out if this is a business meeting or a date.
Exactly that. And the first thing he said once we sat down was, "So tell me about yourself."
Wait, that's literally the job interview question. That's the exact phrase from our job interview episode.
I know, and I actually answered it the way we practiced. Current situation, one specific detail, why I was interested in this opportunity.
You gave him the three-part structure on a date.
I did. I said something like, I currently work in marketing. I recently led a project that increased engagement by 30%, and I'm here because I was curious about this platform.
You interviewed for the date?
I fully interviewed for the date, and he just sat there blinking, clearly expecting something more like, I love hiking and dogs.
I want to pause on that moment, actually, because it's such a perfect example of not knowing which genre of conversation you're in.
Exactly, and I think that's the real vocabulary lesson hiding inside this whole disaster. The language of dating and the language of networking overlap so much that the context is everything.
Let's actually build the vocabulary around that idea then, since it's genuinely useful. What do you call it when two people are talking easily, comfortably?
We hit it off means the conversation flows naturally. There's an easy connection, which, to be clear, we did not.
What about before you even meet? When you match on an app?
We matched. Both people showed interest. So the app connects you to chat. Simple, standard term across most apps.
And when you're deciding if you like someone based on a first impression?
Chemistry or there was a spark. Something felt exciting or interesting between you. Usually noticed pretty quickly.
Was there chemistry with the cologne man?
The only spark was the actual smell of his cologne reaching me from across the table.
Okay, continue the story. I need to know what happened after the interview-style answer.
So after my very professional response, he tried to recover by saying, "Well, what do you do for fun?"
A completely normal follow-up, honestly.
It would have been, except I was still in interview mode. So I said, I prioritize continuous learning and professional development in my free time.
You said that on a date? About your hobbies?
I said that about my hobbies on a date to a man holding a single flower.
I feel like the flower makes this so much funnier somehow.
It really does add a specific tragic detail to the whole thing, doesn't it?
Okay, let's cover a few more essential dating vocabulary terms, because I think this story is the perfect backdrop for them.
Good idea. Red flag. A warning sign that something's off about a person, something concerning.
Was the cologne a red flag?
The cologne was more of a sensory experience than a red flag. Honestly, the real red flag came later.
Oh, there's more. Tell me the red flag.
He mentioned, completely casually, that he'd already looked at my LinkedIn, my Instagram, and apparently found my old university yearbook photo somehow.
That's genuinely unsettling. Not funny.
It was both, honestly, in the moment, funny because of how proudly he announced it, unsettling because of how much effort that actually takes.
Green flag, the opposite then, I assume.
Exactly. A positive sign, something reassuring about a person's character. My date, unfortunately, offered 0 green flags that afternoon.
What about when someone just stops responding completely? No explanation?
Ghosted. Someone disappears from communication entirely, no closure, no explanation, just silence.
Did you ghost him after this?
I did not ghost him, actually, which might be the biggest twist of this entire story.
Wait, what? After the yearbook photo comment?
After the yearbook photo comment, he suddenly got a phone call, said, "Sorry, work emergency," and left so quickly he forgot the flower on the table.
He ghosted you. In person, mid-date.
He ghosted me in person, mid-date, and left a single flower behind as, I assume, some kind of apology gift to the table itself.
An apology gift to the table is such a perfect way to describe an abandoned flower.
I actually sat there for a full minute deciding whether to take the flower home, which felt like a strange consolation prize.
Wait, did you actually take the flower home?
I took it. It felt rude to leave a flower there twice in one day.
I want to cover a few more phrases, actually, because I think there's more vocabulary hiding in the ending of this story.
Go ahead, there's plenty more to unpack here.
What do you call it when you're deciding whether to see someone again after a date like this?
Give it another shot, or give them a second chance. Whether you decide the first impression deserves a follow-up.
Did the cologne man get a second chance?
He did not get a second chance, though. To be fair, neither of us tried, since he also never messaged again after his mysterious work emergency.
So you were both ghosted by each other simultaneously over one abandoned flower.
Mutual, simultaneous ghosting over a flower, genuinely a first for me.
Mixed signals. I feel like that phrase belongs somewhere in this story too.
Definitely mixed signals means someone's behavior is confusing, sending contradictory messages about their actual interest, which describes basically the entire encounter from the coffee invitation onward.
It really was mixed signals from word one. Actually, since neither of you agreed you were even on a date.
Exactly the core confusion. We never confirmed the genre of the meeting, so both of us were improvising based on completely different assumptions.
I want to
the
bring
whole
back
time.
that word, actually, genre, because I think it's such a good way to describe this whole mess.
It really is. Every conversation has an unspoken genre, professional, romantic, casual, and when two people are in different genres without realizing it, you get exactly what happened to me.
Networking genre answers on a romantic genre stage.
Precisely that. And honestly, I think that confusion is more universal than people admit, especially with apps blurring the lines between professional and romantic connection more than ever before.
Did you ever figure out afterward if he intended it as a date, or if he genuinely thought it was networking too?
I actually asked a mutual connection later, and apparently he described it to someone else as a really promising networking coffee that got interrupted.
So he thought it was networking too. This entire disaster happened because neither of you said the word date out loud, even once.
Not once. One simple clarifying sentence at the very beginning could have saved us both an entire afternoon of confusion and one abandoned flower.
That might genuinely be the most important lesson buried inside this whole comedy of errors.
It really is. Is this a date or are we just networking? 5 words, completely clear, would have solved everything before it even started.
I think that's such a valuable, practical phrase for anyone using apps like this, honestly, beyond just the comedy of my story.
Absolutely, clarity up front saves everyone an afternoon of interview, answers, and abandoned flowers.
I have to ask, though, since we've built up this whole disaster, did you keep using the app after this?
I did, actually, against my own better judgment, and there's a whole second part to this story that I haven't told you yet.
Wait, there's more? I thought the flower was the ending.
The flower was the ending of date 1. There was a date 2 a few weeks later with a completely different person.
Please, tell me this one is at least slightly less chaotic.
It is not less chaotic. It is somehow more chaotic in a completely different direction.
Set the scene again. What happened this time?
This person messaged me and specifically said in writing, "Would you like to grab a drink sometime as a date?" Very clear, very direct.
Oh, so this one actually named the genre up front. That's exactly what we said would have solved everything.
Exactly what we said. So I walked in feeling confident, prepared, completely ready for an actual date, no networking confusion this time.
And then what went wrong?
He spent the entire first 15 minutes asking me detailed questions about my company's hiring process.
Wait, so the roles reversed. The date became the interview this time.
Exactly. Reversed. He asked things like, "Does your company have any openings right now, and would you be willing to refer me internally?"
So you went from accidentally interviewing on a date to accidentally being interviewed on a date.
I achieved a perfect tragic symmetry across two separate disasters: networking on a date, then being networked at on a date.
Did you actually answer his questions? Or did you catch it faster this time?
I caught it much faster this time, actually, probably because of the first disaster teaching me something. I just said directly, "Are we on a date, or is this actually a job inquiry?"
You asked the exact phrase from our word tour.
I asked the exact phrase, "live," in real conversation, and it actually worked beautifully.
What did he actually say when you asked him that?
He got a little embarrassed, laughed, and admitted he'd been job hunting for months and had gotten a bit desperate. And my profile mentioned my company, so the opportunity felt too good to pass up.
That's honestly kind of understandable. In a strange way, job hunting does make people a little desperate sometimes.
It really is understandable. And I actually respected the honesty once he admitted it directly instead of continuing to pretend it was purely romantic interest.
Did the date recover after that confession?
It did. Actually, once we named what was actually happening, we both relaxed and we ended up having a genuinely nice conversation about completely unrelated things for the rest of the hour.
So naming the genre directly saved date number 2 the same way it would have saved date number 1.
Exactly, the lesson repeating itself, just from the opposite angle this time. Vocabulary, dating, networking, doesn't matter. Honesty about intent solves almost everything immediately.
Did you help him with the job situation in the end?
I actually did pass his resume along to someone on my team since he was completely upfront about it once he stopped pretending.
That's such a wholesome ending to an otherwise chaotic two-date saga.
It really is, honestly. Sometimes the most romantic thing that comes out of a bad date is a good professional reference.
I want to bring up one more piece of vocabulary here. Actually, since this second date introduced something new, the phrase for someone using a date for an ulterior motive.
Ulterior motive, a hidden reason behind someone's actions, different from what they're presenting on the surface.
His ulterior motive being the job, disguised as romantic interest.
Exactly that, though, to be fair. Once revealed, it stopped being sinister and just became slightly awkward and completely human.
Slightly awkward and completely human feels like the theme of this entire episode, honestly.
It genuinely might be. Dating apps, professional apps, any app blending categories together seem to produce this exact flavor of confusion constantly.
I think what I'm taking away from both of your stories is that naming things directly, is this a date? Is this networking? Saves everyone so much wasted effort and awkward interview-style small talk.
That's exactly it. We spend so much energy trying to read between the lines when one honest sentence would clear everything up in 5 seconds.
5 words, apparently, based on your own word tour math earlier.
5 words and an entire afternoon of abandoned flowers and accidental interviews could have been avoided completely.
All right, let's do our word tour for today.
Let's start with meeting and connecting. We matched. Both people showed interest through the app. We hit it off. The conversation flowed naturally and easily. Chemistry, or there was a spark, an exciting connection noticed quickly.
Now, warning signs and reassurance. Red flag, a warning sign something's concerning about a person. Green flag, a positive, reassuring sign about someone's character. Mixed signals, confusing behavior, sending contradictory messages.
Now disappearing and moving on afterward. Ghosted, someone disappears from communication with no explanation. Give it another shot, deciding whether to see someone again.
Words from the second date, when the roles reversed completely. Ulterior motive, a hidden reason behind someone's actions. Are we on a date, or is this actually a job inquiry? Naming the genre directly. And the phrase that could have saved this entire story. Is this a date, or are we just networking? Clarity before assumptions take over?
Your challenge this week, if you're ever unsure what genre a conversation is in, professional, romantic, or casual. Just ask directly instead of guessing.
And if you've ever accidentally interviewed for a date, or been ghosted mid-conversation over an abandoned flower, you're in genuinely excellent company.
If today's episode made you laugh, share it with someone who needs a break from their own dating disasters, and subscribe if you haven't yet.
And if you're currently using any app that blends professional and romantic connections, please learn from Sally's 2 disasters and just ask directly.
5 words could save you an entire afternoon, a coffee, and possibly a flower. Nobody quite knows what to do with.
I have to ask one final thing, actually, before we close this out completely. Are you still using the app?
I am actually, though now with a much clearer opening message myself, I've started writing exactly what I'm looking for up front.
What does that message say?
Something like hoping to connect romantically, happy to share more about my work too, but just wanted to be upfront about the intention first.
That's such a direct, clear opener. I feel like that alone would have prevented both disasters completely.
It really would have. Turns out the entire lesson of 2 chaotic dates fit into one honest sentence I could have written from the very beginning.
Sometimes the best vocabulary lesson comes from learning it the hard way first. Apparently.
Apparently so, though I could have done without the cologne, honestly, in hindsight.
If nothing else, you walked away from this whole saga with a flower, a new opening message, and apparently a small career win for a stranger you barely knew.
When you put it that way, it almost sounds like a success story instead of 2 back-to-back disasters.
I think that's honestly the most B1 to B2 lesson of the entire episode. Even messy, confusing experiences can turn into something useful if you just name what's actually happening.
That applies to language learning too, probably. Now that you mention it, confusing moments aren't failures, they're just information you didn't have yet.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
We'll see you in the next episode.